Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Inside Indiana Overtime. It seems like we're doing these every day, but Alex McCarthy here for Inside Indiana at Assembly Hall, where Indiana just lost its first game of the season, 88-86 to Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington is no slouch. It's a pretty good team, and that is had performed pretty well in its first couple games. And coming here, you thought that this would be, or at least I thought this would be a really good test for Indiana to see if they can handle a team that can play so well inside and out. And the answer, quite frankly, was no. Indiana's not yet ready for a team that can threaten them with an outside shot, but also take them inside and drive inside. Yogi Ferrell said after the game that they came in basically with a game plan to take away the three from Eastern Washington, which they did. I mean, Eastern Washington came in averaging 12 threes a game. IU cut that in half, where Eastern Washington only made 6 tonight. But everything that the Eagles weren't able to do on the perimeter, they did inside. Indiana was just totally focused on taking away that outside shot that it was just so easy for them to kind of dribble and drive right inside and kind of tear Indiana apart. And it wasn't like they were doing it with big players. I mean, they started Eastern Washington started, the 7'1", 290 guy that I was kind of building up on the board and ended up really not doing. And he only played like 3 minutes, but he wasn't the guy that hurt him. It wasn't a 7'1" guy or a 6'10" guy or anything like that. There's a couple guards and a 6'7" wing who totally tore Indiana up tonight. Especially Venky Joyce, who ended up being Eastern Washington's third leading scorer, but he had 20 points and 14 boards, and it just seemed like whenever there was crunch time, he was the guy just taking it inside, being able to get by whoever it was, whether it was Troy Williams or Hunter Perea or Colin Hartman or Max Hotzel at times. Indiana just didn't really have an answer. It didn't really have a way to defend the paint at all. It didn't seem like tonight. Hunter Perea played, I think, only like 6 minutes in the first half because, well, and Tom Crean put it pretty bluntly after the game. Mike Miller of the Herald Times asked Crean why Hunter was only on the court for 14 minutes, and Crean said, well, he didn't play very well. And that was kind of maybe that was nicer words than a lot of fans were using, on Twitter and everything, for the way that Hunter played tonight. But he just didn't seem like he was able to do much. Guys were, after the first like 5 or 10 minutes of the game, Eastern Washington guys were going right at him and being able to somehow got by him. Like a 6'2" guy would get by Perea and go to the bucket. And Indiana just wasn't able to really stop that all night. It seemed to have even gotten worse as the game went along, where Eastern Washington was able to totally dominate them late in the game. I think in the last 10 minutes, they out-rebounded Indiana 13-4, including 7-2 on the offensive glass, which that for me is the bigger number. It's just if you're giving them 7 second chance opportunities, they're going to cash in on a few of them that where you're forced to miss a shot and you just aren't able to end the possession and get the ball back. And that just really it kind of destroyed Indiana tonight, was that that inability to be able to compete with Eastern Washington in the paint. And of course, it makes you wonder. And IU fans have thought about this. Even after the first 4 games that IU won, what's going to happen when IU actually is going to play some big physical teams that have a really good big man. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not going to be good for IU. They gave up 48 points in the paint, 20 second chance points. It was kind of a disastrous performance for the Indiana defense, and offensively, again, they were a little off. They still scored 86 points, but just weren't doing it maybe as efficiently, and not as many players were kind of getting in on it. James Blackman had his quietest nights of his short career. He only had 10 points, 3 of 8 shooting, only made 2 3-pointers. It's just not really the Blackman we've seen the first couple weeks of the season. Robert Johnson had a little bit of a quiet night. He was 3 for 7 for 7 points, it's just, and it was kind of reminiscent of last year, where especially late in the game, everything was Yogi Ferrell. He was the only one who was able to shoot from the outside. He was the only one able to get inside. He was really the only one making things happen for IU on offense. He had a game high 27, or tied for a game high 27 points, and again, this is going to go under the radar, of course, because of the loss and because of the defensive struggles and things like that. But Farrell had 7 assists and just 1 turnover, which that's I think 17 assists and 2 turnovers his last 3 games combined, which is exactly what Indiana fans want to see, out of Farrell, out of any point guard. So that's certainly a silver lining there. Troy Williams had a big game, 19 and 9 off the bench. He started the second half in place of Hunter Perea. So, you like getting that back, I guess, from Troy Williams. But overall, just kind of a rough performance from IU. I mean, it was just so reminiscent of last year in a lot of ways, where they were leading. It seemed like they should be in control, but it never really felt like they were in control, even when they had 11, 12 point leads, and it just slowly kind of trickled away from them as the game went on. So that's really the story of this one from Assembly Hall. Again, Eastern Washington 88, Indiana 86. We'll be back here. I'll be here Wednesday for the women's game, and then Friday when IU takes on UNC Greensboro. Here, I think it's a 9 o'clock tip, which is awful considering that we're going to be here for that 9 o'clock game and then have to be over at Memorial Stadium for the noon kickoff against Purdue. But it should be an exciting weekend. IU's hoping to get back to its winning ways on the basketball court and on the gridiron. So it's bucket week, so we're going to have full football coverage leading up, talking Tevin Coleman, talking seniors, talking everything IU football here for the next few days. Recruiting wise is getting really interesting, so be sure to head to the site while you're home for Thanksgiving break and hanging out with your turkey. And again, happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there, and keep watching, keep reading, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye.